There. We have our pitcher. Not quite, but to me it's a pitcher. I would just give it a spout here. And now what does it need? Anybody? Should we go ahead and give it one, finish it up? Okay. Well, that is called throwing a pot. It doesn't make much sense to me either, but that's what it's called. But this makes sense. This is called pulling a handle. And that's exactly what the potter does. With a wedge of clay and a bucket of water. Let's see. I'll begin to pull. And I'll just pull and pull and pull until it gets to be as long and as wide as I want it for a particular vessel. And did you notice all the tools that the potter uses? I couldn't do it without the tools. They're absolutely necessary. Let me show you. This one is Bert. This is my kids. And this is my mother-in-law. And you can put your own name on this one because I'm not going to tell you mine. But the tools, they do what the potter's hand can't. Don't they? I mean, they prick and cut and wound a lot. You know, my father used tools to nail my Jesus' hands to the cross. He used a tool to pierce his side once, and no more, just once, for his glory and my good. And that same hand holds every tool that touches my life. And everything he does for his glory and my good. I can trust him. But the potter's hand, it never wounds, the tools do. But the potter's hand, oh, it confirms and enlarges and raises up and gives form and beauty. I love to see the marks of my hand on the vessel. I leave them there on purpose. And it confirms, like when I attach a handle, I'll leave my thumbprint there on purpose. But now, I'll run my fingers down the back of the handle simply to make it lovely. And now with that special one, you can give it your own name, remember? I'm going to scratch up the back of the vessel where I want the handle to go. We call that scoring. We'll just scratch it up. And then I'll do the same thing to the handle. We'll score that up, put a little bit of water on it, and then a little bit of this mushy clay down here. We call that slip. And then score it once again, and then it's ready to attach. I wish you could see your face. It's not the right time. The potter knew that. This vessel needed time. It needed to dry some in order to become strong enough for me to attach the handle to it. Time. It's something the potter uses lots of. Time is of no consequence to him. See, it's about the vessel. Whatever's needed, however long it takes, oh, he'll wait. We get impatient. foul things up, don't we? Looks like a reject, doesn't it? Have you ever felt like a reject? I felt like a reject most of my marriage. Everything that I wanted and hoped for was good and right, but it just never happened. And everything that I pleaded with God to do was His will, and nothing ever changed. And so as I walked in bitterness and hate, pointing the finger, Jesus stayed with me, loving me, patiently waiting until He could show me what filled my heart. And He went deep, and He brought out what I thought was the problem, Bert's secret, drinking. And with it came all the pain and the bitterness that had turned to hate. Only the funny thing was, when it was all out on the table, I come to find out that here's Bert. He'd already cried out to Jesus, and Jesus had already lifted him up out of the pit. There he stood, forgiven, free, loving me. Only I couldn't see it because I was so full of hate. And then Jesus turned to me. I thought I had a right to my hate and unforgiveness. My heart was so hard. But He just kept washing me with the water of His word. You know what His word says? I mean, we read it a lot. Do you know what it says? He says, I love you. I love you. And I think that a lot of the songs we sing to Him, we sing because He first sang them to us. I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, I love you, I do. I love you, I love you, I love you. And my heart will follow wholly after you. And my heart will follow wholly after you. Well, He helped me see all the judgment and the harsh self-righteousness that I was filled with. And He took it all out. I mean, I don't mean to say that I don't fall into it from time to time anymore, but the roots are gone. I don't hate Bert anymore. I love him. I like him. And even bigger than that, I don't hate me anymore, because Jesus doesn't. And there's just one more secret I want to share with you. The healing that He wants to do in each one of us, it isn't just in our hearts. He wants our whole bodies to be sound. That I could look like a lot of you, healthy and all filled out instead of emaciated like I do. But He says, darling, I don't want you to call to mind the former things anymore. I'm going to make all things new, even with our bodies. You know, for about 23 years, I struggled with what you would probably call a chronic indigestion. I always thought it was from years of vomiting with bulimia, that I'd probably destroyed my digestive system and I was going to die with it. But Jesus has taken all the bitter acid out of my heart, and I don't need that baking soda anymore. I mean, a 2-pound box of it would last me 2 weeks. I never went anywhere without a vial of this stuff in my pocket, and I don't need it anymore. But you want to know the best thing of all? The best thing of all is that to the potter, this ugly reject clay, it's his most precious clay. You know, I will save this, every bit of it. I keep it in big 5-gallon buckets. And it's a big process, but This clay has to be reworked so I can use it again. A professional potter will have a big machine to do it for him. It's called a pug mill. It reworks hundreds of pounds of clay for him. Well, I'm one of those potters like Jeremiah was. I don't have a big fancy machine to do it for me. I am the pug mill. And so on a big plaster bed, I'll get down on my hands and knees and spread about 125 pounds of this reject clay out. And I watch it and very intently because it dries quickly. And at just the right time, I'll scrape it up off of that bat. And I'm down on my hands and knees and I'll begin what you saw me doing, reworking that clay. And I am hot and sweaty. Sometimes I feel like my back is going to break because it's so heavy. But I'm smiling because now I have chosen clothes. Because of what the clay has been through, it becomes far more flexible. It's humble, obedient, trustworthy. It'll hold those big boulder shapes that I want to do. It's out of this reject clay only that I make my true vessels of honor, chalices, cookie jars, and teapots. Not too long ago, I don't know, maybe it's a couple ago now, I made this little vessel. Several people have wanted to buy this particular one, but I won't sell it for anything. It's just a little brown teapot to you, but not to me. You see, when I made it, I loved it. To me, it is perfect. It's exquisite. I mean, the sphere is just perfect to me. The walls are 1/4 inch all the way down. Even at the bottom, it's light. I can feel it. The lid fits exactly. There's no gap whatsoever. And it was the weirdest thing. But after I made this little teapot, all I wanted to do was be with it. And I would watch at home. And when no one was looking, I just kind of amble on down to the laundry room where I made pots at that time, just to be with my teapot. And I'd pick it up off the shelf, and I would just caress it and feel its beauty. It's just so perfect. If I heard somebody coming down the stairs, I quick put it back on the shelf and just pretended I was doing laundry. Well, after about a week of these secret rendezvous with my teapot, I was down in my laundry room one day, holding my treasure, and I heard him. He said, "Grace, how you feel about your teapot, that's how I feel about you. You are perfect. You are exquisite. You're mine. I know all that you've been through. I was there all along. It was necessary to make you who you are. But darling, I want you to be all that you are. I'm going to use you. I am going to hold you high like a royal jewel for all to see, my glory, my crown. And you are going to bring me great honor and glory simply by being who I created you to be." Me. You. It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? But when the doubt comes and the unbelief and the voices whisper and they say, "Not you. You can't. You're a reject, no good, no way, can't." Jesus helps me. He helps me a lot. And he says, "Darling, who are you? Who do I say that you are?" And so, with my button unbuttoned,